Hi everyone. I've built a city in Valheim with 51 homes, 33 shops and businesses, including 4 taverns, 6 bridges and 10 docks. It started as an idea to build something based on Old London Bridge, then expanded to include 5 other neighbourhoods surrounding the bay and linking up to a previous build on the river. All are joined together with an unbroken road. It sits on my spawn island with other builds planned nearby, which will be connected to this road network as they are completed. I've marked the various districts on the map. We will visit them in this order. First is Old Odin's Bridge, followed by the Woods, a less populated and highly forested part of the city square, a distinctly not square area at the core of the settlement. Fourth is Stonebridge and High Terrace, a high-level bridge over the river linked to large houses on a raised terrace. Fifthly, the Tail, a scattering of smaller homes terminating the road at a small dock. And lastly, Bayside, the wealthiest part of the city, including its largest inn. Starting with Old Odin's Bridge, it has a simple base, an 8-metre wide stone floor supported by 3 rows of iron beams, connected to the ground at the piers. These are spaced equally, with the only exception to the design at the centre of the bridge, where a raised solid bridge connects the 2 towers and space has been left for a drawbridge, scheduled for release on September 9th. The houses were then added by framing the floor with iron beams, creating unique footprints for each one. Then the angled support beams were placed irregularly to further differentiate each building. The remaining structures are reinforced with more iron on the ground floor walls. Between the houses, making use of the gaps, are a variety of businesses, outdoor seating, carts and chickens. The overhanging roofs used throughout provide shelter from the rain. The bridge is host to 12 private homes and 5 guard rooms, with businesses including a small tavern, the Thirsty Fish, several shops, Gobbycraft, selling goblin-based crafting supplies, Mountain Marvels, selling treasures from the peaks, Pie Guys, serving pies, Bridge Barbers, Galdrifica, selling things related to the Gouda table, the Emporium of Curiosities, selling all kinds of shiny bits and bobs, Colin's Cookpot, Blob Bombs and Broomsticks, and Bear's Accessories. I like bad puns. The guard towers in the middle of the bridge are accessed via a portal, and another portal point on the bridge links it to the altar at spawn. The end of the bridge leads to the woods, smaller homes with little farms or set around a fishing pond. The houses are built on irregular footprints, which was harder to put roofs on, but kept a unique feel to each one. The first home has a boar farm and a small private dock, all set in a low area below the main road. The steep level change was managed with the staircase and a small covered arch at the top. The house itself is a rectangle and a circle merged together, with floor pieces used as ceilings to cover up the messy undersides of the clipped roofs. The fisher's house by the pond has a tall stone chimney, giving the appearance of 2 levels while only having 1. The veranda at the front helps break up the rectangular design, as do the bay windows used throughout the city. The house for the chicken farm sits on a fairly steep slope. I've dug into the hill internally and levelled the ground at the front and back, creating a raised garden area and space for the road. Lastly in this area is a high-ceilinged home with a dock, providing a point of connection for the chicken farm to the water. Timber has been used to create metre-square pillars in the place of stone blocks. The city square sits at the head of the bay before it becomes a river. There are a range of structures here, with a blacksmith, the Dead Man's Bank, the Fishers' Guild House, 7 residences, and the 10 Dragons Inn, framed with garden areas, animal pens, and lawns. The bank is a fusion of 2 build styles. Externally, it is in keeping with the rest of the city, but internally, it changes completely. The glass roof is achieved using iron grates on the top side, then placing a series of doors, the offset between which is about the same width as a glass piece, then patience and snapping points to fill in the glass and remove the doors. The grouston underneath it is decorative. The dead man was made using 2 item stands, a wraith trophy and a poison skeleton trophy. The blacksmith is spread over multiple levels, with a storeroom at the very bottom leading into the yard, with smelter and furnace, then up some steps to the main room, where the blacksmith's private room is accessed internally. This is the other example of a glass roof in the city, concealed externally using angled wooden beams to continue the shape of the roof. I've experimented with split-level homes a little here, creating a mid-level floor for entry and a short staircase up and down to the other levels. This freed up some design choices while still allowing access to the 2 floors internally. The covered bridge is supported by iron beams along the length. The arch of dark wood was added afterwards. The house next to the bridge has a split-angle design and also a half-metre level change, mostly because I like making a challenge for myself. The walls were quite easy to blend into each other, using the metre-thick stone blocks to hide the worst of the uglies. The roof was much trickier. I used floor pieces as a ceiling to hide the worst of the roof undersides, and created a new platform for the top piece of roof, squaring out the corners neatly and hiding the wonky bit in the shadow. I put a round Fisher's Guild outpost at the end of a small spit of land, linking it in with a stone causeway to the main road. The space is divided into a guild workshop for gutting and cleaning fish downstairs, and living quarters for the housemaster upstairs. The top piece of roof is made using corner roof pieces snapped from top centre and placed at 45 degrees to each other. This leads us into the largest district in the city, Stonebridge and High Terrace, which includes a handful of buildings on this side of the river and more on the other side raised up along the cliff. It begins at the Wolf Garden, with a house for the keeper, nestled below the high road. Beyond this is a large dock, with an exchange for industrial materials beneath a small terrace. On top are seating areas looking over the dock and river, and a huge kitchen building, with the whole end of the building serving as a chimney. Steps from the dock meet the high road before it winds across the top of this ridge, which connects it to the south end of Stonebridge. The road continues up the stairs, while the space below the bridge is used as a shop selling barrel rings and fishing rods, named Rods and Rings. The foundation for the Black Forge, above the shop, is used to fit in a small home for the shopkeeper. The steps up to the bridge split halfway, with the fork leading to a hunter's house set away from the main settlement to be closer to wild game. At the head of the bridge, the Black Forge is set within a split-angle building. The ground floor is set for the business, and the smaller upper floor contains accommodation and a balcony. Stonebridge is made from 2 horizontal lines of iron beams, with a 4-metre wide stone base. The support structure, made from dark wood, creates the arched appearance, with a central pagoda providing cover for twin ballistas. These are set to target trolls only, to avoid them tearing up the city whenever a neck spawns, while maintaining their active movement. Ivy was planted at the base of the supports to blend the bridge into the terrain. On the far side we enter High Terrace, with a covered walkway made from the foundations of the mayor's house. The road splits in 2 here, one path leading towards Bayside and the other towards the tail. Turning right towards the tail, steps lead up to the mayor's house, passing through a courtyard containing the smokiest cooking apparatus and into the main hall. This is set for hosting large parties and feasts, with the more delicate kitchen pieces tucked away behind the stairs. The private living space is upstairs, with some decorations in keeping with the mayor's status. I built up the terrace here to widen the buildable area, using arches below to support it and add depth. The first building is an apothecary, with a patient bed, medical supplies and a herb garden, and space upstairs for the apothecary and their assistant to live. Next door is the Adventurers Guild Hall. The housemaster has a room next to the door, and stairs lead up to the main hall. This is filled with foods and meads for feasting, and with trophies and treasures claimed during quests displayed. Tucked underneath this, a tannery, making use of the stretched hide from the workbench upgrades to complete the look. Lastly is the architect's house, a small lobby with stairs up to a small but pleasant living area. This is where High Terrace connects to the tail, with steps down to two houses, a fishmonger and a smuggler, each making use of the dock, the fisherman to sell his catch and the smuggler to bring in goods by river at night. The road continues a little further, ending at the brewery, a 3-storey building with the mead making happening on the dock and in the lower level, and a generous living space on the other two. A private cottage garden is at the very top, dug out of the hillside. The nearby town, an earlier build which can be seen in another video, is a short sail down river from here, but that was built to be only accessible via boat. Returning to the fork in the road beneath the mayor's house, but turning left this time, there are 2 more buildings in the Stonebridge and High Terrace district. Firstly is the Armourer. Built on a narrow stone plinth pushing out from the cliffside, entry is on the middle floor, with the shop and available items for sale displayed on stands. The lower level is the workshop, and the upper level is a private residence for the armourer and their apprentice. After this, Stumble's Tavern, so named both for its steep winding stairs and the effects of the mead, a smaller establishment but laid out to accommodate as many patrons as possible. The kitchen area is behind the external staircase, which leads down from High Terrace and into Bayside. The raised park was made using the hoe, pickaxe and cultivator. Land was raised to make a neat circle, then the terrain was clad with the stone arches and walkway at the top of the dock area and at the bottom as well. Most of the plants are spawned in using the console, with the Mistlands tree being used to contrast this park with the other gardens in the city. 4 chickens roam the park, kept contained by the wooden gate and perimeter fencing. On the uphill side, a secondary terrace hosts a pair of houses for the park ranger and the shopkeepers in the nearby market, with shared kitchen facilities between the houses. Below the park, using the arches for cover, is a small market with 4 stalls. Foods of the Forest sells foraged goods from the woods, Beyblades sells swords, Dark Magic Supplies is self-explanatory, and pork products can't possibly be misinterpreted. A house for the owner of pork products and the boar farm adjoining nestles in below the park arches, with the fence for the boar farm including the runestone that talks about boars, which was here to begin with. There are then 3 houses set in a leafy suburb right on the water's edge. They are amongst the largest in the city and have private docks. There is also a well and a small vegetable patch, with some outside seating and a portal linking to the Hall of the Mountain King, which can also be seen in a previous video. The final tavern in the city, the Guardsman's Arms, is the largest. The ground floor is split into 2 levels, one half the bar and some seating for drinking and light food, with the main dining area below on the veranda, which has a double-gabled roof and open front providing shelter and views over the bay. The roof was built to a square grid pattern whilst the floor on the ground level curves gently, creating a natural feeling space without making problems later with the roof. The kitchens are at the back against the city wall, with vents for the ovens in the roof. The upstairs is dedicated to 3 rooms for hire and a common area for the overnight guests. It is accessed externally via the staircase for the city wall. The wall protects the lowland part of the city, with a large gatehouse and guardhouse at the top of the wall. There is a covered walkway along the entire length, and a table for the guards to sit and play dice. That pretty much sums up the city in all its parts. No mods were used, although build cost was turned off and console spawning played a big part. Stability is functioning as normal. This was a project spanning around 6 weeks from start to finish, and it evolved from a plan to build a bridge into what you've just seen. At an estimate, the city is a bit over a mile long. Old Odin's bridge is more than 120 metres alone. It is hard to get an accurate entity count for the city, as it cannot count the whole thing at once, and I can only estimate the range of the count. I would say it is somewhere between 80 and 110,000 entities. The highest single point is sat on the mouth of the river between Bayside and City Square, where it reads around 37,000. There were a few moments when the scale of the task was overwhelming, but now it's done I'm very happy with it. New experiments with glass roofing and half-metre split levels went well, and I used Grouston in a way I'm happy with for the first time in the bank interior. Filming the city was a final point of curiosity. Due to render distances, FreeFly can only record so far from your character. To account for this, each district had to be filmed individually, with the character being moved between shots. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please ask any questions about the build in the comments below, and like and subscribe for more content like this.